Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of TightSpot's Lounge. We are alive and we are ready to kick ass. And you guys are here for the long ride that will be forever how long we will be here tonight to talk about a family film, our life these past 2 weeks, and yeah, how you guys all doing out there in the Twitterverse, Twitchverse, YouTubeverse, everywhere that you guys can see us or hear from us. We are here, we are live, and yeah, Nakattack, how you been, man? How's it been going? I know we've been chit-chatting ever so often via text, but overall, how's your 2 weeks been? What have you been up to? Whoa! Wait a minute. We just got a sub. We just got a sub from Spartan Fan. They subscribed for 29 months, and this time they subscribed at tier 2. And guess what, guys? The streak has been broken. No sub Fridays does not exist anymore. We've got a sub on a Friday night. Hell yeah. Spartan Fan, thank you for the sub. Also, guys, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscription button. It's free to subscribe over there on YouTube, because that's what they call. But we are live, and I thank you, Spartan Fan, for that sub during the episode of TightSpot's Lounge, which really doesn't happen that much, but he's here. He's here to talk about Deadpool 2, just like we are. And even maybe talk about Deadpool 3 and what Nakattack thinks about what could happen in that movie in Deadpool and Wolverine. Because he hasn't seen it, but I have, and I'm not going to give him any spoilers. But we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Nakattack, how you been? What's going on? What's good with you?
I did see, I know we're not talking about it, but at least this time, but I did see Furiosa this week, and god damn it, George Miller did it again. Oh, It's so good.
I started watching it, and then I passed out because I was tired. It wasn't the movie. The movie did not make me tired. I was already tired. I put it on in the background, and I was like, you know what? I want to watch this, so I paused it, and I haven't gone back to it yet. But I had time, probably this week, coming up to watch it, and maybe we just pull that out and say, hey, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it right away. But I know Nakattack has a choice for something completely different, and I'm surprised that he chose this because I'm like, interesting choice. We'll talk about it later. But that's awesome. Any new music that you've listened to in a while? What is on Nakattack's playlist?
Just devouring every little new song Brothers of Metal's releasing. I think they released 2 singles so far. The new album coming out, but I think I've heard a couple new Seether tracks. It's Seether. Nothing really new there. I don't know. Nothing that stood out.
Nice.
Too
That's
much.
Cool.
Just stuff that just kind of been coming across my radar. I just check out. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's good.
That's cool. I, on the other hand, am going to be interviewing a band coming up here on New Music Inferno, all the way from China. They actually are Americans, but they live in China because they're English as second language teachers over there, and they're called Fuck Your Birthday. So I'm going to have them on New Music Inferno coming up next week. Not this coming week, but the following week, because they had to reschedule because the guy's on tour with his other band, so we gotta put that on hold for a second. But next week I do have a band from Australia called Gellions. We'll talk about them later, not tonight, but later on this week on our streams, and also a band called All the Pretty Things as well on next Wednesday. So full boatload there. Life has been all right. Last we talked, I was mentioning to you guys that I was going to see Lewis Black. Lewis Black was awesome. We also got to see our friends in Alibis, and also we watched AEW All In, which was in London last weekend, which was great. And work's been all right. Wife's been doing all right. End of mid next month onward, probably gonna be crazy with her because they want to move her out of the facility where she's at to somewhere else. Not Not sure what's going on there, but we'll give you guys updates later on when I know more down the line. But yeah, that's my life. I know Nakattack's kids are back in school, so that's something refreshing a little bit. And yeah, so Nakattack, we are here by our own accord, and I chose Deadpool 2 for the movie that we watched for this episode. And that's why the title of the episode is We Watched a Family Film. Nakattack's like, yep, okay. Anything else you want to say before we go into the movie, Nakattack? Anything you want to talk about before we go? Any updates on your models that you've been making? Anything else? Any books? Anything else before we go to dive into the movie?
Okay, well, since you brought up my model kit, I accidentally broke like a very key piece that basically attaches the right leg to the body, but I might have come up with a fix. I have to sacrifice some mobility, but I was able to kind of glue it. It was like a ball with a peg that comes out, and I accidentally cut the peg off. But I cut a new peg out of the sprue, and I stuffed that down into a hole into the leg, and then I put the ball on top, and I glued that, and it appears to be holding pretty well. So the leg I have won't be able to rotate this way, but once it's in the rest of the body, I can still move it that way, and the knee still does that and stuff. So I sacrificed some mobility, but I did save the kit, I think, because it would have looked terrible without a leg.
Yeah.
And I must have been tired or something, because they're two pieces. They look almost identical, except the one has the peg sticking out. So I cut the first one first that didn't have the peg, and then I was like, well, I'm not going to look at the instructions. I just know to cut that piece out. And then I cut it, and I was like, oh, no, that looked pretty thick, what I could just cut there. And then I looked at the image, and I was like, no. But luckily, I had some model glue, and I was able to fix it. And what's crazy about the model glue is it actually melts the plastic. Mm-hmm. So you got to hold it till it melts and then hardens, and then it basically melds what's left together. So I think I successfully did that. So luckily, because I put a ton of work in this thing already, and it would have sucked to have the leg not be there, but I think I saved it. And I actually finished that leg tonight. I don't have it in front of me, but I did finish the busted leg, so I'm ready to move on to the next leg. And then I just have like the crotch skirt thing for the Gundam, and then then the body's complete. Then I just got to do the weapons and stuff.
Okay, all right. It's a process, but he's getting it done. Also, before we do go to our segment about the movie, we normally do this on the show, and I'm going to do this now. I know Nakattack has lost interest in football for the longest time because he's been busy with his kids and doesn't have time for it. And
my Eagles won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I was waiting 30+ years for that to happen, and it happened. So I'm just like,
yeah, he's done.
He's like, I saw the thing I wanted to see.
Yeah, he's like, okay. But I just want to ask you this on a blind whim: what do you think the Eagles will do this year? Just on a blind whim. We do this every season when the football comes around, because I think it's funny. He used to be a fan. He doesn't know that much anymore because he has a life and he has, all this fucking crazy shit going on. I want to know what Nakattack's thoughts on how the Eagles are going to do this year.
I think they'll probably dominate the division, but they'll probably get eliminated early in the playoffs.
Okay, all right.
Just an early guess. I have no idea what's going on with any team, but
yeah, all right. That's an interesting take. I love it. I don't care. I would love that to happen. We'll see. As it is 18 weeks long of a season coming up, starting the following week. Yeah, so it's like 2 weeks from now. Because this coming week I have a draft. I had my family's draft last night, which didn't go that bad. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to have Nakattack give you his thoughts on a blind little, like, oh, what's going to happen, not knowing what's going on anyway in the NFL. So, Nakattack, let's delve into who's on my shirt, which is Deadpool, but we're going to go and touch on Deadpool 2, which is the sequel that came out in 2018. And, yeah, 2018. Can you believe that?
I can at this point actually. You know what's actually kind of funny? The back of the DVD cover, there's that Terry guy. It's got a speech bubble coming to him and says the sequel to the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I okay, so the sequel to the first one, which is it's so true. It is a sequence of like we kind of like advanced a little bit in life of what they were doing, but they were also in this movie uh making it what it was. Which is
Honestly,
still
it was kind of refreshing to watch one of these superhero movies and just have it kind of be a standalone tale.
yeah, yeah, it was. I mean, I'm gonna tell you this. This was like the uh this is Marvel's anti-hero because honestly, Deadpool isn't really a hero in a sense, even though he's killing all these like mercenaries and these hitmen and
Yeah,
all the bad guys.
I think he started as a villain, but I'm not 100% sure about that. I thought I remembered in the 90s he was like a villain or something, but
I don't
I was
know.
a kid like just sort of reading these books back then, but I didn't look up the lore, but I could have sworn like the character started as a villain, but he was still kind of like a goofball per se. Like I don't think Deadpool was ever really a serious character.
Yeah, I don't think he ever was. I mean, honestly, because he was a guy that went and like in the first one, you see what happens with him, how he gains these powers to regenerate
I'm not
himself.
sure when they decided to make him like a fourth wall breaking meta character. I mean, I kind of like that. That's sort of like he's like that only character that exists in all of Marvel.
Yeah. Well, he can't die, so he has to be able to break the fourth wall and become meta and become a multiverse entranceway for other people to be involved in storylines that may have died or be able to, you know. And I know a lot of people from watching this one and watching the new one really don't like that multiverse type of thing going on with Deadpool, but I do because it opens up the possibilities for him just to be in the movies, even though it may not be Ryan Reynolds who performs as Deadpool. It opens up the door for uh, multiple different Deadpools, multiple different scenarios, kind of like what Rick and Morty and a couple other shows have done with a metaverse and having multiverse theatrics go on, where there's one Rick for every Rick in every universe that exists, or there's one Deadpool in one universe that's one way, and so on and so forth. Kind of, uh, which it, it it's refreshing. It's not refreshing, but it's also people. You can look at the storylines different ways because honestly, all our lives are different in a real sense because we all live on the same plane of existence. And I'm talking about the movie and life in reality as well, where our lives are all different. Our stories are all different. We come from different backgrounds. We have different parents. We have different upbringings. And this movie makes, and it's on a higher level of talking about movies. I don't know why I'm doing this, but it's just like movies exist,
Just in here,
but
I'm trying to figure out where's John going with this.
movies exist, but our lives are not movies. Our lives can be movies because we make them to be movies, but they're not movies in a real sense. But go ahead. I'm just babbling on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nakattack. But Deadpool 2, sequel
I
to the
just love
first
how
one.
you said you weren't going to spoil anything with Deadpool 3, and then you just like, I know all about Deadpool 3, so don't worry about it, but then you just like spoiled like a whole bunch of Deadpool 3.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Because Deadpool 2 does it. Deadpool 2 does it because he's part of X Force. That opens the door for X Men. And Logan in the beginning opens up for Wolverine, which, happens in the third one because that's what they do. You know?
I guess we'll go into spoilers for Deadpool 2 here, but I heard about this when the movie first came out, but I love that they just like killed all of X-Force. Because I know at the time everyone was thinking like, oh, this is just going to be a gateway movie for the X-Force. And then
Yeah.
I was like, I love that they just all just got killed just going out to start that mission on that prison convoy. That was so hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially Shatterstar when he got in that helicopter propeller.
Yeah. And then
I used to really like Shatterstar. He was one of my favorite characters as a kid. I think I just really liked his character design.
mm-hmm.
You
I'll
don't
tell
really
you,
see it in this movie, but he's like a samurai with two swords, and his swords have twin blades on them. I just love the design of him.
I love how Brad Pitt was uh, uh the invisible guy. Like that was funny.
Yeah,
Like, you throw in Hollywood's elite into this movie, and you're like, holy shit, that's funny. Like it's Brad Pitt getting shocked to death as the character. Um, and
that's like when South Park had George Clooney be Sparky the dog for the one
yes,
episode,
yes, yes. The
the season one episode.
big gay owls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Big gay owl was great. His circus was fantastic. It was the characters and from there you got Mr. Mackey coming out as gay. South Park in general. You got Mr. Slave. Uh, Jesus Christ. Ooh, like I don't know. We're talking about South Park. Shit, fuck, we're all over the place. Maybe that's a spoiler for another movie we'll watch after South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and see if that lasts down the line. That sounds like a plan, doesn't it, Nakattack?
I'd be interested in revisiting that one. I know I didn't like it when it first came out, but I think I might appreciate it more now.
As an adult, and maybe well, you loved Team America, didn't you, or you hated that? I don't remember.
No, I like Team America.
Okay.
I just think at the time I wasn't really expecting the South Park movie to be kind of be like a musical.
Yeah, but the musical it adds it is a musical, but
I was a kid and I was expecting like just a longer episode of South Park. So
yeah, it kind of was, but also a musical, but also the music pieces in that movie were kind of like the entrance of this movie, where it's like a 007 montage kind of, which was amazing. I know Nakattack, you messaged me saying, "Oh my god, I love this GoldenEye intro." Like, it was great. I love it.
We're back on Deadpool now.
Yeah, we're back on Deadpool because we're stopped talking about everything else, because this episode could go hours long if we wanted to. But...
Well, would have made that opening better with the James Bond thing if they had it done like just a single like James Bond sort of parody action scene that led into that. But instead, the intro was a little long leading up to that point. So I think that joke could have been even better, although I still liked it. Because it was like a pitch perfect James Bond opening parody.
Yeah. But, they did it because they wanted to tell the story of why he's there, why he's, holding the Logan statue. And, it worked. I mean, him flipping off the camera, "Fuck you, Logan." Like, it was great.
I die in this one too.
Yeah. It's a family film because that's the whole like killing of the mercenaries, and then it's a family film, one big fight scene. Like, yeah, and like saying that the babysitter.
You know which part of that got the biggest laugh out of me?
The babysitter thing.
No, the scene when he's rubbing his eyes.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then he lifts up and he says Scoutmaster Kevin or something like that. I laughed so hard at that line.
Scoutmaster Kevin. Yeah, I rewatched the movie again today, even though I watched it the other day just to watch it again and piece of time for the podcast, because I've seen it multiple times. Hell, we own the unrated copy on Blu-ray, and I love Depender, the taxi driver. He's great in this movie as always. Kind of short role, but that's because how the storyline goes of what they were doing in this movie. T.J. Miller was in this movie as the bartender there.
Those guys returning from Deadpool 1.
Yeah, both guys, and then also the big bald biker dude, which Deadpool was like, "No more lines for you."
Yeah, that was another scene that got a legit laugh out of me too when he said, "Why did we give you a speaking line?"
Yeah, it's like, why? But yeah, overall, I mean, the movie, it's sad that we lose a character in this movie, but it had to happen to make this happen. This movie happened to kind of open up Wade's eyes about life and that, you know, once love is lost, he can still go on and create new memories with new people. And we see him join the X-Men X-Force. X-Men
Kind of
was
forms the X Force in this movie.
yeah, he forms the X-Force, but we also see him join X-Men as a trainee for a little bit. Um,
I loved his uniform. He had like that like
practice
JV
jersey.
X-Men jersey.
Yeah, the
That was great.
JV
I laughed so
practice
hard when he came
jersey
walking out
for
with that.
football jersey. It says X Force and then trainee on the back, and Negasonic and Colossus was, you know, Negasonic was giving him shit more because he was giving Negasonic shit, sarcastic, because Negasonic loves him, but she's also the edgy person that doesn't want to show affection, even though she is, you know, a lesbian with Yuki.
I like that line too when she was getting angry about like, yeah, I'm gay. He's like, whoa, hold the phone, hey train. I'm just surprised anyone's dating you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, who wouldn't be surprised? I mean, because of her personality, being like a Wednesday Addams kind of character, a little bit with the not non seriousness of her character, but yeah, I loved her in the first one. In the second one, I mean, she had a bigger part in the movie, um, with everything that was going down with Fire Fist, which we are meeting in this uh, reasoning by, you know, and then everything that's going on. It's kind of like we do have multi-universe in this because you have the timeline kind of thing going on with Cable, which we meet in this movie as well. I know I'm jumping ahead. I'm jumping all over. But we have a lot to talk about because this movie opens up Cable, who was part of multiple storylines in Marvel. I'm familiar with him from the comics of X-Men and the, you know, just everything, the lure and everything. But like, I never, okay, so I'm going to tell you this. I've never really delved into reading the stories, but like from word of mouth, I know Cable was a badass. Like, he was a badass because he was like with
You
the
are
eye.
correct. I had a few issues of Cable's solo comic from the '90s and some X Force, and I love Cable.
Whew. Sorry, I had to turn on the air. It's getting hot in here a little bit. Whew. So,
Talking
yeah,
about Cable's heating you up.
yeah, Josh Brolin, right? Josh Brolin, am I right?
Yeah, my wife thought Cable was played by John Cena. I was like, no, John Cena's way bigger than that.
John Cena plays Peacemaker, which, yeah.
Although John Cena as a younger Cable, I'd go for that.
Love it. You're like, yep, I would definitely watch that happening. Yeah, Josh Brolin was Cable. Josh Brolin also just amazing actor. We've seen him in tons of movies. He even played Thanos. For anyone who did not know that, in the Marvel saga as well. So he's not the only guy who played Marvel character. Well, two Marvel characters in the storyline. You know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess Robert Downey Jr. is going to do it now too.
Robert Downey Jr. Chris Evans played, you know, Human
So
Torch.
lame.
And he also played, you know, Captain America. But yeah, like it's interesting. I mean, you have Ryan Reynolds, who played a DC character, right? Green Lantern, and now he plays Deadpool and kicking ass and taking names. You know, just a lot of shit, a lot of story there. With that being said, like we can't really find people to cast as other characters, but I don't know. I think talking about Robert Downey Jr., I think that's gonna be a fun thing to see. Like, see what happens with that movie and how, like, his role.
I hate it.
Yeah, See,
Mads Mikkelsen's right there. There's your Doctor Doom. What are we doing?
I don't know. Maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe he was there, but they didn't want to do him. Who knows? Maybe he wasn't even up for the role.
I think Mads is like, no, I like you. It's not hot anymore. I'm not doing this. You're not locking me in for 6 shitty films.
6 films? Wow. Yeah, I mean, those films, and then I don't know an actor. I've never like really sat down and talked about how like being in a recurring role maybe can be detrimental to the health because all the stunts already the things that and the length of filming and just like being there on set, being away from family, being like I don't know how it would work. I don't know how that lifestyle is, but I think it's pretty crazy, don't you think, Nakattack? I know this has nothing to do with the movie. Well, it does, because movies, like, we're talking about people doing multiple roles and doing it for multiple years. Do you think it takes a lot of toll on people? I mean, we've seen it with some people like Heath Ledger. I mean, that took a toll on him when being.
Well, just think about like how many actors that were like kind of big like 10 years ago that like you don't see anymore. It's like just people just get burned out and.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the child actors too. They quit. They decide, you know what, Hollywood isn't for me, and they go and go to school and go lead a life. But I think Ryan Reynolds is one of those guys where I don't think he's tired of Hollywood. I think he has found his niche and does the right movies and has the right personality to continue on. Like, I don't know where we're going with this, but whatever. We're just going with the flow because it's fun.
Yeah. Well, the reason I think we keep going off on side tangents is because there's like Deadpool 2 is like it's a fine movie. Like there's nothing super spectacular about it, and there's definitely nothing wrong with it. It's just kind of there. And I feel the same way about Deadpool 2 that I felt about the first one. Like I had a ton of fun watching it, but like I don't really have a desire to go back and watch it again. I mean, if it's on TV, I'll stop and watch it till the commercial break. But you know.
But you don't watch TV anymore.
It's a perfectly fine sci-fi
that's the thing you won't do.
Superhero film.
You don't watch a lot of TV anymore. That's a good thing. I don't watch any cable. I don't have cable anymore. I just watch old episodes of Celebrity Deathmatch or South Park or Spin City for that matter. That's what I've been watching recently. So that's what I been watching on the Prime and Paramount and Reno 911. I mean, still funny to me. I think. But Nakattack, I would agree. But like, it's a fun movie. It's like you said, it's a fun movie. It continues the storyline where we are given a sad note in the beginning, and then in the end, kind of wrap it up with happiness, with everybody realizing it's family and they're there for each other in the sort of way that they do. And it feels like Deadpool's done, you know, and then we haven't seen Deadpool for 6 years. I know.
And I think that actually works in Deadpool 3's favor, just the long gap between the second one and that.
Yeah, I think it does too, because it made us waiting to see what this
builds excitement.
This third one could end up with and how it could go, and I'm going to say I was excited to go see that movie. I was really excited, and I can't wait for Nakattack's full reaction when he sees the third one. But the second one,
I will at some point. I want to see it.
Yeah, down the line when it's out on DVD or some shit, we'll do a
I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and
Hugh Jackman, man.
Deadpool movies are fine, and I'd love to see the Wolverine Deadpool interaction.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's great. It's great. I'll just leave it at that. In my honest opinion, it was like the best of the series. The second one, it left me wanting more, and I think it did for you, Nakattack. I bet it left you wanting more.
I definitely wanted to see more of Domino. I liked how they portrayed that character in the film.
Yeah, Domino.
Her power set and everything. It was fun. It was very fun.
She was very very good, very good casting for her. I don't who was Domino? I forget. Jesus Christ, why am I stupid? I can't remember.
Yeah, you looking that up? I forgot to see who that actress is, but yeah, she's very good. You can tell she was having a blast in the role too.
Yeah, let me look it up real quick. I'm on. Uh, it's
And I like the little
it's
sort of nod
Zazie
when she lands
Beetz.
into that giant panda because her character in the comics kind of looks like a panda. She's white with a black patch over her eye and stuff.
Zazie Beetz, who was also in Joker, and also is in the next Joker as well, which comes out later
Oh,
this year,
good for her.
which is going to be awesome. I think Todd Phillips definitely did a great job on the first one. Have you seen the first Joker or no?
No, not yet. Yeah, I heard really good things.
Okay, maybe we'll have to watch that down the line then too. I will throw that in there. I've seen it. It's dark. It's twisted. It's good. In a sense. But Nakattack. Yeah. So Nakattack. Let's get back to the question I kind of gave you in the beginning, and you weren't really prepared for it, but now you should be because we're at talking about the movie. What do you think happens in Deadpool and Wolverine?
Well, I know what happens. I saw a spoilery review of it.
Okay. Well, if you didn't read that spoiler review of it, what do you think would have happened? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you read a spoiler review of it. I'm sorry.
Let's see what would. Trying to think, what was I thinking? Like it's about before I saw the trailer or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that it would be something like a Rocky 3 situation where they're, you got Rocky and Creed enemies, but then they eventually become friends to fight a
Okay.
greater threat.
All right. All right.
I was seeing some sort of story like that, with a lot of laughs and swears and violence.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I think you're on the right.
And basically, I think that's what they did. But there's a lot. I know they incorporated the multiverse stuff, and yeah.
I think you're like you're on top of it. So I'm excited for you when you get a chance to see the movie. Get a chance to see it. So anyone out there, if you guys have anything else to say, I know you guys are all just lurking or not here, but I love it that the people that did stop by, I appreciate it. And you guys can all check out the archived version of the show on YouTube as well. So Nakattack, your final thoughts on Deadpool 2. Anything else you want to say about the movie? Anything we missed? I think we hit the tail on the head. Because honestly, I think people should go watch this movie. If you guys are a fan of the comics or Marvel Universe. Because honestly, I think this is a palate cleanser to a lot of the other ones you probably have seen that maybe have been boring or very non-interesting in the series of Marvel movies. But Nakattack, anything else? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, yeah. I just wanted to highlight another scene that made me laugh really hard is when Deadpool was riding around in Professor X's wheelchair and knocking over statues inside the X Mansion. I was laughing pretty hard during that scene.
And then he wrote on
Just that camera angle where it's like deadpan and he's just like scrolling through and things are falling over behind him. I was laughing pretty hard at that.
It was already broken.
Yeah.
And then him with Cerebus on his head, and he broke it at the end there.
Yeah.
Finishing Colossus's sentences. That's funny. I think I mean overall the interactions with like the fight scene like where he killed the one dude and then like the when the convoy,
Juggernaut's cool.
Yeah.
Juggernaut's cool.
Juggernaut, the whole convoy where like
that was a fun action sequence.
Yeah, where he cries because one guy gets killed, and that was fun. I'm not even remembering the name guy, but you know what I mean. If you guys have seen the movie, because we don't like to spoil everything, you guys need to go see this movie. because honestly, it is a palate cleanser to a lot of people, and it just gives you comic relief throughout the movie with the liners, the scenarios that these characters are put in. Um, and yeah, we just don't like to talk about spoilers because it kind of ruins why we do these podcasts sometimes. But this movie's been out for 8 years. I don't know where you guys have been living, or 6 years.
And we gave a little warning earlier on, so
Yeah. So yeah. Nakattack, your rating. Go ahead with your rating, so we can wrap this up and take it home.
I give it a 3.5. If you're not a fan of comic book movies, I don't think you'll like it. If you are a fan of comic book movies, it's different from everything else that's out there.
Wow.
Like I mentioned earlier, there's nothing wrong with Deadpool 2 per se, but it just kind of plays it safe despite, being like a hard R. There's nothing. It's perfectly fine movie, just a little above middle of the road. It's entertaining. I definitely didn't mind watching it. If I'm not gonna go out and buy it or anything, but it's fun. It's fine.
He'd buy it if it's in the dollar bin. Would you? Would you buy it if it's in the dollar bin? Would you?
Eh.
Oh my God. Wow. Everybody save his 4 quarters. Someone will have to buy it for him.
But I'm a minimalist though, so it's got to be something spectacular, like
buy it
Fury
on
Road.
digital for him for $1. Jesus Christ, just buy it on digital. He doesn't care about cloud space. Cloud space is universal. I would give Deadpool 2, and this is kind of like re-rating it because after seeing the third one already, it's kind of like I don't know if it's not my least favorite. And the first one's not my least favorite either. It's like they're both tied for second. But
yeah, the first one's fine, but it's also an origin story, so you gotta slog through the first act.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I give this. You gave it a 3.5. I'm gonna give it a 4. There's no reason why it shouldn't be a 5, but it's like I think it's a 4 because, like you said, Nakattack, it's one of those movies where you've seen it, you don't really need to go see it again because you can remember what happens. It's a memorable movie where you know the bits and pieces that you need to know, and that's what it is. Like you said, it's a movie. It's an anti-hero superhero movie that's done right. That is kind of like an origin story for Cable, because we bring him into the fold. It continues the little bit of storyline we had with the X-Men in the first one to the second one. So it's a solid sequel. It's better than a lot of the sequels we've watched, in a sense where not just on the show, just in life. Like, I mean, you're like, okay, which one's the better, the sequel or the original? Oh well, the original's better, but here's why. But like you said, for a superhero movie, the first one's a origin story, so you got to throw that out a little bit and not discredit the movie, but also say, hey, you know what? It is a movie, but we kind of know the origin story. But did we really need to see that? Like, with a lot of movies, with like Wolverine, you see that's an origin story. People like that movie, but they also loved Logan, but also hate it at the same time. I'll leave it at that.
As far as the origin story of superhero movies go, I think Iron Man might be the best one.
Okay.
Because the way he becomes Iron Man is so cool and engaging. I rewatched that movie last year recently, and it holds up very well. It's so fun.
I like that. I like that this opened a little bit of ending to our sequels of the summer series, which was, I think, a fantastic idea, Nakattack. I know we had some bummers, but we also had some solid picks.
I'll be fast to work on next summer's gimmick.
Are you the summer gimmick guy? Are you?
I'm the summer gimmick guy.
Am I the
At least
fall?
for us.
Am I the fall gimmick guy then? Shit.
If you want to be.
I don't know where to go. I don't know where to go with this one. Do we watch all shark films? Do we delve into the realm of horror shark films that are fucking stupid? Like, do we do that? Can we do that? The Fall of Sharks.
Isn't every shark movie a horror movie?
Well, like, no. Like, Jaws is a thriller fucking movie. Like, but like, maybe sharks with, like, I don't know. I don't know. What about horror animal movies? There we go. We do a fucking fall of fucking horror animal movies. Like,
nature run amok.
Yeah, there you go. Well, think about that. But Nakattack, you have your pick for next week. So, what is your pick? What did you pick?
Are we doing the one I showed you?
I don't know. Is that what you want to do? You picked it. You chose it. Or do you want to just delve into Furiosa and say fuck it because you want to talk about it so bad?
No, not. I mean, I would like to, but I'm waiting to get the black and chrome edition in 4K. I saw a DVD and the DVD looked fine, but I know the 4K is gonna look amazing for that movie.
Okay. All right. We're waiting for Furiosa.
But yeah, let's do the one I originally picked. Because I'm sorry, I know we talked about doing the Iron Claw, and we will do that at some point. But I just didn't get a chance to look to see if I'm able to get that.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
In the meantime, we're gonna pick. I think it was from 1990, an adaptation of Hamlet starring Mel Gibson and Glenn Close. So yeah, we were just kind of in the. I think John was kind of with me. Like we're just kind of in the mood for a hard change of pace from Deadpool and like all these fun like goofy sequels. We kind of wanted to do like a serious drama, so it's on Hoopla, it may be elsewhere, but the 1990 adaptation of Shakespeare's Hamlet, and it stars Mel Gibson and Glenn Close, and I'm very curious to see 1990 Mel Gibson and Glenn Close do this sort of performance.
Okay.
It'll be pretty fun.
It should be. I'll watch it, and I'll sit back and be like, okay, all right. It's Mel Gibson and Glenn Close. You know, our live version of Cruella de Vil when we grew up for the live adaptation of 101 Dalmatians. Glenn Close. And also Mel Gibson, who's done a movie called The Beaver, which I don't know. I'm just mentioning movies off the top of my head.
And I can't believe it's going to be like Halloween before we know it. So we're going to have some fun horror movies.
Yeah, we are. And Terrifier 3 comes out soon enough, guys. How excited!
That trailer looks pretty good.
How excited are you for that? I am. Well, guys,
I'm very excited because Leone is definitely growing as a filmmaker, and like just Terrifier 3, at least from what I've seen so far from the trailer, like visually it just looks amazing. And it's so cool to see this guy, especially from Terrifier 1. Terrifier 2 was a huge leap from that, and then Terrifier 3 looks like it's another evolution of this guy's talent as a director.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too. It's going to be insane. Because honestly, it's a legit it's a Christmas movie, but it's a horror film. And
yeah, and I know a lot of people were bagging on the mystical elements of part 2 and the fantasy elements, but I was like that stuff really intrigued me about it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of like we've seen that stuff with like Freddy Krueger and stuff, but here it seemed to really lean really hard into the mythology of it instead of just having to be like, oh, well, he's supernatural because we need to crank out sequels.
Yeah.
Like here it felt intentional rather than just we need some reason to keep cranking out sequels. So that's why I kind of like the direction I was going, and I hope they keep going that way, like introducing kind of like the weird supernatural stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's my hope. If not, I'm sure I'll still enjoy it. But I really like the magical dagger and stuff from part 2. I loved all that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited. But we'll talk more about that on our next episode after we review Hamlet. And I know September is going to be wild with movies. We have next week is September. So September, our next episode isn't until September 13th. And then after that is the 27th. And then we're in October. So we may start Halloween early for you all out there. but we'll talk about it. We'll schedule things. But Nakattack, thank you so much for another great episode. I know the listeners and the viewers out there are probably like excited for it more, and I know we are. So we're gonna rate out. We're gonna rate out to our boy, the Dirty Casual. He's live playing some 7 Days to Die, and we're gonna go watch Hamlet. So guys, join us on the 13th as we watch 1991 or 1990. You said 1990 Hamlet's with Mel Gibson and Dirty Casual, but not Dirty Casual. Mel Gibson and Glenn Close. Dirty Casual was like 5 years old back then. Well, let's go. We're going over to Dirty Casual. We love them. We'll see y'all later. Deuces and much love.